Awesome. All right, welcome to, this is week 4 of data visualization. Week 3 was a holiday last week, so we didn't actually meet in person, but I did open the weekly folder, so we'll just kind of review what you can go over or what you could have gone over. Week 4 was also open, so you could have gotten into that as well. But week 3 was an intro to Power BI. Now we've been covering Power BI in our other course. What days are you guys with me again? And
We are on Mondays and Thursdays.
BDAT1010. So you're in my 3rd rotation of business intelligence, and we've been covering Power BI for 3 weeks in business intelligence. So hopefully this was just a nice soft intro for those of you who aren't in my business intelligence course or who are in my business intelligence course, and we've covered some of that stuff there. So here we just loaded in some data into Power BI and then got our hands on some data sets for analysis, and then taking a look at some of that information. There's some good videos that you could watch here and some of the Microsoft docs. And then just links to some helpful resources that you might find helpful through the entire semester or just after. Guy in a Cube is a really good resource on YouTube. And then there was some in-class demo files here as well. So that was most of week 3 there. It would have been pretty straightforward if you've been coming to the business intelligence classes on Thursdays or Wednesdays. And week 4, we're going to kind of continue. We're going to dive a little bit deeper. We're going to continue exploring Power BI on top of some of the stuff that we've covered in my Thursday class with business intelligence, and just getting more comfortable with that before we move into Tableau. And then also, oh yeah, hello.
Yeah, out of we that are not in your class in business intelligence, I was thinking that we'll do the hands-on Power BI today with you.
Ask that again, sorry.
No, I said, what about we that are not in your class for business intelligence? I was thinking that we'll do the hands-on stuff on Power BI with you today. That was what I understood.
Oh, you're not in my business intelligence class?
No.
Okay, yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. We'll continue covering Power BI anyways. So if you are or aren't, we're just going to kind of pick up and continue working with it and getting comfortable and playing around with some of the visualization tools. And I have files that I can give you that will catch you up as well to where we're at with Power BI so far. So you guys are taking business intelligence with someone else though?
Yeah, I think class B is with someone else. So for most of us, we are with another lecturer.
So who's teaching you for that stream?
The Padrine. Is it Padrine? Is his name? I don't know.
Okay, so he would be covering the same curriculum as me with Power BI. Like you guys would have covered Power BI in his class too. You would have done 3 weeks now with his class in Power BI.
Actually, 2 weeks because the last week was public holiday.
Last week was Power BI, yeah. And the 2 weeks before that would have been Power BI as well.
Yeah, we just covered 2 weeks because last week Monday was public holiday.
You just covered what, sorry?
We just covered 2 weeks.
Oh,
We've
2
had
weeks.
2 weeks of lecture.
Oh, just because
Monday
one was a holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's fine. So you guys have your business intelligence today as well?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So you would have missed this one and that one. That's unfortunate. Your Mondays, yeah, you missed 2 classes. That's fine. So we'll get caught up, and then he'll also catch you up this week too with his Power BI stuff. And I know there's recordings and everything in all my classes, and I can post videos for last week's class from last semester for this week 3 that we missed if you want to. So we'll cover a bit of that today, and then we're also going to get a look at our assignment number 2. So assignment 1 is due June 5th, I believe, which is coming up this week. No, this Sunday. So a week almost a week left, 6 days. So it's due this Sunday midnight, so basically 7 days. And it's an individual assignment where you're just interviewing and you're filling out that UCD handbook, and then you are also sketching up a dashboard wireframe as well, and then giving me a digital version of that sketch too. So then we'll introduce you to assignment 2, which is basically going to be building that, whatever you
So I have a question,
wireframe,
please.
into Power BI.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, what's up, Israel?
Yeah, I find it pretty difficult to write, to print out the PDF. So what I did was that I copied out the question on a Word document and I typed it there. So I'm wondering, would that be okay for you as well?
It's the same format, like the questions are all on the same pages and stuff, and you can get rid of stuff. Like if everything is still there, then that's fine. I would prefer it if you could fill it out on like the PDF file itself. It makes it a lot easier for me just to have all the same file types when I'm going through and grading them.
I'm going to convert.
So you could. Yeah. If you convert it to PDF, that's great. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll convert
as long as all the questions are there and like everything's been copied over and it's all the same, then there's no problem there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Professor. Okay, if we also printed it out and we use pen to write on it, is it and scan back to you? Is that okay?
Yeah. If you printed it out and you use pen, that's fine. Scan it. Or if you print it out and you want to bring it to me in person, you can print it off and, well, I guess you'd give it to me today, just because Sunday would be before I see you next. So if you did want to print it off, you can either do that, or I think there's a way to get it to my mailbox too if you have it printed off. But yeah, you can just scan and then sign it, send it electronically as well if you've printed it. So that's fine. Yep. Cool. Any other questions regarding assignment 1? Are you guys good with assignment 1? Yeah? See? Cool. So we'll jump into the week 4 folder here and just kind of take a look at what we've got. So this week we're going to explore a few more of the analytical capabilities of Power BI. And then if you were in my business intelligence class on Thursdays, we covered DAX, which is the coding language within Power BI, which is those data analysis expressions. So we're going to also look at a way to do DAX expressions, but automated. So you don't have to code them by hand, and it's just going to be made for you. So it's a lot easier and a lot faster as well. And usually out of the box solutions like that will be what you use most of the time anyways. And then we're going to cover assignment 2. So there's our learning objectives. We're going to examine given information sets to determine the most important variables. And then we're going to select data from an information set to effectively communicate the most salient facts. Okay, so I'm going to give you a PBIX workbook. I'm going to attach it to this actually. So just as a starter, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, but I'll just put it up there for now. Where is it? Downloads. There you go. Okay, so you can download that and open it, and that's just the starter file. And it should look like this. So you'll have one, basically, you'll have a table view or a matrix view, and then you should have, if I close these, you should have pretty much what we built last week in business intelligence with our 2 main fact tables here, returns and sales, and then everything else connecting to them. So we've got customer, we've got calendar, we've got territories, product, and then from product, there's 2 branches or 2 arms that extend into subcategories and categories. And we've got these relationships going between them. All right, so you can download that file and make sure that you've got all those aspects. And then remember, we also hid the foreign keys. That's what this little eyeball is. Or you can right click and hide from the report view. So those were some of the things we covered in the business intelligence class. So we're going to be using the same file for today's class. So it's going to kind of cross over, which is nice. All right, so that'll be your starter file for today. It's right there in the week 4 folder. And we're going to make a couple different reports. And today's also going to be a bit of a workshop. So we're going to be working together on creating some of these things in Power BI and creating a slicer panel as well. Did someone have a question there? Oh, I thought I heard something. Okay, cool. And then I'll give you guys a bit of time also to start working on assignment 2, so I can help you with some of those visuals with Power BI. All right, there's some sample dashboarding here. Let's see if this link actually works. It'll download a PBIX file from section 1 here, so charts, graphs, and dashboards. So you can take a look at that too.
Please, I'm in the week 4 folder. What do you say we should download?
Sorry, Christopher?
What should we download?
What should you download?
Yes, I'm in week 4 folder now.
Oh, yeah, up here, the PBIX file. For a little bit later in class, we'll touch on that. So you don't have to download anything right now, but
okay.
This web link here also was created by Alfaro Chingono, who works at Microsoft now, and he has recorded a data modeling and visualization exercise with 6 video segments here. So it's a really great set of instructional videos. He used to work at ProServe IT, but now he's at Microsoft doing data visualization. So he's definitely someone in the industry who knows what he's talking about. So if you want, take a look at those videos and go through those video lessons. There is, in this video lesson, the base requirement for assignment 2 will be in there, and then I'll touch on that later with the assignment folder. Okay, so these data sets that he's using, these videos, can be found in this weekly learning folder right here in this folder. So if you click in here, these are the data sets he's using. All right, and then coming down, there's another video that we can watch, but this will be something you can do on your own time. You watch this video below and then try to build this slicer panel in Power BI. So I don't think it's super long, it's only 8 minutes, so that'll be a good one to try and challenge yourself with. Step-by-step guide, and then there's a summary. So pretty straightforward this week. All right, so we're going to start with a brand new Power BI file like this. We're going to do get data, and we're going to use the global superstore sample data set that we've been using all along. And we will hit transform data. Come on in.
So sorry, I'm late.
No worries.
Oh, please. Where can we download the file, please?
So that link is, I believe, let's just see. You can Google Microsoft Actually, I'll just post it in Blackboard so you're using the same one as
You
me.
can share the file with us. You can just upload the file.
Sample. It's going to be this one. So it's an Excel, it's a CSV file. There you go. So it should be in the week 4 folder there. You can download, and then when we import it, we're going to hit transform data. And we're going to do the same things we do every time, which are, who remembers? Yep. Perfect, yeah. And for this one, we don't really have to change too much, like the name's fine. But yes, we always check the name. We check the headers for each column that they make sense, that they've been promoted, so that we've got ship mode, customer ID, customer name, and then we go through and we check the data types to make sure, you know, this is dates, so this is a calendar or a date type. This is a string. Hi, come on in. Customer ID is a string. All of these are strings. And coming through to the end, we've got some decimal values. So we've got some currencies that we can look through. Cool. Once we're done that step, we close and apply. All right, so we've just made a brand new Power BI, and we just loaded the global superstore data into it. So you can find that CSV file here on the week 4 folder on Blackboard. All right, so we're going to build 3 visuals. Each one's going to get a little bit more complex, and we're going to spend a bit more time on actual design and visuals today, rather than, you know, covering a bunch of different visuals. We're going to just focus on making them actually look polished and clean, so that when you start working on assignment 2, you're going to actually create visuals that look customized and polished in terms of design. Okay. So is everyone up to this point so far? Everyone in Teams?
Keep the profits and shipping costs as decimals or as fixed decimals?
I kept them as just decimals. It'll work for what we're doing.
Oh, I changed it to...
Oh, that's fine too, yeah. You can, basically it's just rounding them to 2 decimal places or not if you want, so.
And did you rename the file or is it still...
I kept it global dash or global hyphen superstore. Yeah. Right, and in Teams, you guys are good?
I thought you mentioned about the startup file. How do you get the startup file?
Pardon, say that again?
No, I thought you mentioned that we should open a startup file on Blackboard. How do you get the startup file?
So I uploaded it into the week 4 folder.
The startup file?
Yeah, the CSV file is uploaded.
No, I mean the first file you opened. I thought you said we should open a particular DAX file, PAX file. I don't know what it is.
You know what he's saying? DAX file? There's 2 files there. You just need, right now, you just need global superstore.csv.
Okay.
The other one you don't have to worry about for now. Okay. All right, so first thing we're going to do, bar chart. We're going to make it take up about, I don't know, halfway down and about 1/3 of the way across. Maybe a little smaller. And we're going to be doing sales on the x-axis, which we can grab in here. All right, and right now we just have a singular value. It's giving us 12.6 million. Now we want to divide that by the region. So what we can do there is we can take the region and put it on the y-axis. Nope, that's not what I want. I want to go one smaller, so let me just take a look at the data here to see what I want. I think it was, I thought it was region. This one, yeah, central. Okay, so we'll go region. Y-axis. All right. So we've got Central, South, North, and Oceania. And now what we can do is we can actually, so that's easy, right? That's simple. We've got our data in there. But now what we can do is we're going to focus on actually making these visuals a little bit better with polishing them and actually playing with the format tool a little bit more. So I want to change the color of these bars. I want to make the title bigger. And I want to provide some type of text that shows the amount on this chart so that the user doesn't have to hover over to see the value. So see if you can do those three things. See if you can figure out where to do those three things. Color, title, and then data, yeah. I don't want to say the exact term, but labels, yes. Yeah.
Good question.
Sure.
We're working on a global superstore.csv, right?
Yep, you got it. So that's up in the week 4 folder there. The other thing I want you to do, okay, so I'll make a little notepad so you guys can keep track. So 1, I want the color to color, how do I word this? Color theme, I guess. 2, I want the title to be bigger. 3, I want data labels. And 4, I want you to limit to 4 regions. The top 4 regions. See if you can get those 4 things figured out. And then I'll give you 2 minutes to kind of explore, click some buttons, and then I'll do it with you.
Please, can you?
Hello?
Hello, Professor. I'm trying to get the file. I think I'm getting error. You can't access this recording. Okay, is it recording or something? The file. How do I get the file, please? I've been trying to.
You can't access the file on Blackboard?
Yeah, I'm right there now.
Do you have an ad blocker or a pop-up blocker or something installed on your browser? Try using a different browser.
No, I've not experienced that before, so because I don't have it. So do I go to weekly learning?
Blackboard, weekly learning, week 4. It's under the weekly content there.
Okay.
Hello, Professor. Please, can you bring
And
down the notepad?
if that doesn't work, what you can do is Google Microsoft Global Superstore Dataset CSV, and then we don't want the Excel file, but I guess it would be the same thing. And then you can get, oh, here we go. Sample Superstore data there. Or it's on the Microsoft Docs webpage as well. I'm just trying to remember the link for it. Microsoft Docs sample datasets. Here. If I can remember the link and find it, I'll put the link in the chat. But for now, just try downloading the one off of Power BI. Yeah, sure.
Hello, Professor.
Okay, so color.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Professor. Hello.
And the
Hello, Professor.
1 second, I'm just helping someone. Color theme is bigger, yeah, centered, the labels, and awesome. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. See if so the colors that I like to do is like start with say like a deep whatever red, and then each one down, make it go slightly like less opaque or like slightly less in an intense red each time. So that it's kind of like a gradient.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
My top four is not working with me.
It's not working. Your top 4.
Doesn't align with the
Which okay, you've got the visual selected.
top end.
Yeah, and that should be there. It should work.
But I'm doing the flicker on the replay.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be visual. Oh, by data field, so by region. There you go. So you just have to put the value that you actually want to filter it
You're
on.
doing good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, you actually did it with the, yeah, perfect. The gradient like that, yeah, that's awesome.
The color option is not.
So I do them like individually, but that's fine too.
In here, you can, yeah, the color is right.
Yeah. Awesome, that's sweet. Great, okay, so let's walk through it. So, number 1, the color theme. Lakshit, you got it figured out. So we're gonna do a gradient color theme. I want to go from dark purple to light purple. So how do we do it? I'm gonna just make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Okay, and we're on our format tab. All right, Lakshit, so you figured it out. So what did you click to get your color?
Bars.
Into bars.
Yeah, and then there's an FX over there.
So we click the FX button.
Yeah.
We'll get a dialog box. Yep. So we're on gradient here. It's going to be on sum of sales. And then we can just choose our color, basically. So highest value, I want to be a deep purple. And the lowest value, I want to be a light purple. So it's just going to be a nice, smooth transition.
And when you do OK,
Yep.
then there is a show all button. Yeah, over right. And it will show all the colors.
Right. So now that it shows all, I can actually choose an individual color for each of these. Now I've got a ton in here I can scroll through. So right now I've got a ton of options, but when we limit it to the top 4, then we'll only have 4 that we can choose the exact colors for. Perfect. All right, so color, check. We want our title to be bigger, and I'm going to add centered. Okay, so title to be bigger and centered. Did anyone in Teams figure that out?
Next, Professor.
Can't really make out what you're saying through Teams there. Your internet's cutting in and out, but we'll come back to the format tab. And which one do we want? We want to do our title, and we want to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's in this tab. So there's a tab within the tab, and then we've got our title. It's on. So if you ever just want to turn it off, you have that option. And then we can change the actual title if we want, sales by region. So we're going to eventually make it sales by top 4 regions. So we'll change that there. Top 4 regions. And want to make it a little bit bigger. 1 second. We're just going to use our font. We can also change the heading style too. So I think heading Does that actually change?
It doesn't really change actually.
No.
So I use that.
You use the heading?
No, I use the.
Yeah, just the font to do it. Okay. So we'll go with 20, and then if we want to center it, we can just use the alignment tools here. Perfect. If you wanted to add a background color to make it pop a little bit, you could, but I will just stick with white. And there we go. That's our title. Check. That is bigger and centered. Someone had a question in Teams?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering which of the bar chart you use. Is it the start or the clustered option?
Oh, I use stacked.
Okay. Okay.
So it's the very first one. It's the very first option for visuals.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
I can hear echo at the background. I don't know if it's.
Say that again, Christopher.
No, it's girl. I said I can hear echo at the back.
Oh, I can turn the volume down a little bit, and then it might not echo.
Okay.
Oh, now I can barely hear you. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, is that better? I brought the notepad down. Okay, so title, and it is bigger and centered. That's what we want. Now, data labels is exactly what it sounds like. So we're in our format tab. We go back to the visual section, and then there's a section here called data labels. Now let's expand it. All of these options are grayed out because it's off. So if we turn this on, now you can see we actually have the values. The position we can change. So we can say auto, we can say inside end. So now they go inside the bar. That looks a little cooler. Outside end, inside center. Not my favorite. And then inside base. So it's like all along the left. I think inside end is my personal preference for this, but if you want to do outside end too, I think that would be good. Awesome. We can also change the font a little bit so we can make it a little bit bigger. Now the problem is, and this is kind of where you want to play around as you go, if you make the font too big sometimes for your chart, then what will happen is you're going to lose information. Stuff will get cut off or it'll get pushed to the next line. So if I go above 10 here, oh, and now it's back. So it is a little bit glitchy there. It disappeared at 10 and 12 and 11. There's nothing there. But if I go to 13, it seems to be back. So I don't mind that. And we'll keep it. We'll keep it there. It's a little big, but I think 12 just doesn't show for now. So we can also add a background color. So if you want it to pop a little bit, so you can add a background of dark gray, and then they'll hopefully stand out against the purple. And we can also change the display units. So right now it's in millions. We can go to thousands, and then it's going to go convert those millions to thousands, or we can just hard code it to millions as well, or just auto. It's fine. I might do millions actually, because then it goes one more decimal. And then was there anything else I wanted to do? So there's overflow text. That's good. Okay, so that's our data labels. And then we want to limit to the top 4. So who figured this out? Who got this working? I know you did. You did, yeah. You got it working? Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So how did you do it? So we got filters. We want to filter on our region because we only want the top 4. Okay. So we can change this basic to top n, and n is going to be a variable we can select the amount of. So top, we want top 4. Perfect. Yes, so this was a problem we were discussing over here. So it's like, oh, you can't click this button. Well, that's because we have to actually filter by a value. So then we filter by the region. Oh, by first, yeah. By the first, so yeah, that's what it, first, or you could get the last 4, but because we're doing the top 4, then we've got top 4. Perfect. And now if we wanted to come back and edit our color specifically, we could go back to the, was it general? No, visual tab. Go to our bars, and then we can pick our colors. So if you wanted to actually specifically set them, you could. Not much will change here, but that option is available. All right. So that would be one fully finished chart there that you've actually thought about the end user. You've thought about what's easier to read. You've made the font bigger. You've added backgrounds. I've added data labels to the chart so that there's contextual information so they don't have to hover over with a tooltip. Now, if 1.6 million isn't good enough, then they can get the actual value by hovering over it, right? The only other thing is these labels on the side maybe look a little bit small to me. So let's make those a little bit bigger. So those would be our y-axis labels. So we'll expand our y-axis. I think 12 is good, yeah. And then x-axis too on the bottom, they're pretty small. So we'll go up to 12 as well. We don't want it to look too squished or too busy, but it's pretty good. Sweet. All right, there we go. So that is our bar chart. And it looks a lot better than the default one that you get. All right. Can I walk you through how to use Color Brewer? Yeah. I mean, it's really just for generating hex values, and then you could just copy them over, if I'm thinking of the right website. So the next one we want to work on is a donut chart. So that's this icon here. And yeah, I'll put it right there underneath my first chart. Yeah, which is perfect because I want to go right underneath here. Sweet. All right, and this one, should have got a seat here. We're going to do our sales by shipping mode. So we've done this before in our donut chart. So I'm going to let you guys figure out what values and what rows do we throw in here for sales by ship mode. So we obviously want sales as the values, yep. So here we've got 12.6 million, but we want to split it up by our shipping mode. So we find shipping mode right here, and we're going to throw that in the legend. Perfect. All right. Now, the donut chart is a great chart because you can get a lot of information all in one spot. But right now, currently it's set up, we've got 2 areas for the user to read. So their eye's going to go here, and then in order to look over and figure out which one the standard class is, they have to come over here and read 7.58 million. Oh, this blue is with this blue. That's not necessarily the best way to do it because now they're jumping between 2 visual spaces on this visual. So I want to get rid of, I'm going to give you some more instructions. Remove, oh, wrong keyboard. Remove the legend. Then I want to combine the legend information with the data labels, we want to increase the title size and center. And what else do we want to do? Let's, add a card in the middle of the donut for total sales value. All right, so those are your 4 things. Have a go, and then we'll cover it together again.
What do you mean by the code? Add a card in the middle?
So what we can do is, I've got a donut here. I can use this visual called card. So I'm going to add, first I have to click off of it so I don't replace my visual. I can add a card, and this card is going to be the total value of sales. So I'm going to put it in there, 12.64 million. And we're going to shrink it way down, just like that, and then pop it into the middle of that donut. And then you're going to group them.
So we're removing legends.
Yep, remove legend. So we're going to take this information that says standard class, second class, first class, same day, and we're going to move it onto these data labels so that it's all in one place.
So it's more like when you hover over it, it shows, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not when you hover over it. It should be there the whole time.
Yeah. It should be there the whole time.
Yes.
And it's okay if it's like outside the donut shop because it won't fit in the smaller parts.
Which part are you talking about? The labels?
The labels.
Yeah. If they're outside, like on the outside of the donut chart?
Yeah, they're like.
Yeah. That's totally exactly how it should be.
But I'm not sure.
Sure. Oh, I can come over. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Sweet. And this is group?
I don't know
Oh, okay. No worries. Oh,
it went inside.
yeah. So, there we go. So, to group it, we have to select them both. So, we go to this selection. And then we want to select card, which is that guy. And we want to select shift. So, have them both selected. And then we should be able to both selected group them. And now,
That's how you do it.
so now if you move it around, it's just gonna be one chart. Yeah. And sometimes what you have to do before you group it is like bring it to the front, like the alignment. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Now, how would we, or what would we do when, I decided I want to put my chart up here in the top right. Oh, I can come with it, so how would we fix that? What do you think? Yes, perfect. So we come to the View tab to do that. There's this selection. So then we can select, we've got a card, and we've got sales basically, so I will shift. So now I've got both selected. right? That's what's selected there. And then you come to the Format tab. And now if we decide to move it, now sometimes it gets glitchy like this, but then once you click off of it, oops, where? Yeah, once you click off of it, then it's fine. So line up. There you go, nice. And then if you want to match whatever color theme you did on the previous one, so like I did purple, you did orange, you can change some of the colors too, if you want. So I'm going to walk through it now. Step one, we want to remove the legend. So I'm going to hide my filters panel here so that my chart gets a little bit bigger. Hide my fields because I'm done with those. Okay, so we're going to come to our Format tab. And we want to remove oh, I'm on the wrong thing. We want to have our donut chart selected first, and then come to our Format tab. And right here we can see this tab or this slider for turning our legend on and off. So we'll just turn that off, and instantly we can see our chart gets a little bit bigger. It's centered now, but we just lost the shipping information. So I don't know which color ship mode is represented by that, right? So how would I get the shipping mode information back on my labels? Well, if we expand our data labels, right? Our data labels are these. So if I turn them off and on, it's this 0.67 million. Now, the position outside, that's fine. Here we can see this label contents drop down. So category would just be, there's our shipping information, but now we've lost the percentage of the donut. I've got data value, percent of total, and then these are all just the previous three combined in different ways. So I like all detail labels. Give us all the information, please. And then the user can decide what they want to read or focus on, if they just want to compare percentages, if they want to compare millions, or if they want to compare the actual class. So we do all data labels to get everything moved into one, and they're on the outside, so we've got room in the middle for this. Okay, so that's step one. And step two, we combine the legend info with the data labels. Step three is going to be the same thing, increasing the title size. So we go to our general title, we can center it, and then I think we did 20. If you want to find a different font that you like better, go for it. Again, you could add a background or anything as well. All right, and I might also make my label size a little bit bigger. So let's tooltips. Let's make our label font a little bit bigger. I'm not sure which one of these it's under, I think. Is it in visual? Oh, there we go. Yep. No, I was just looking for to make these a little bit bigger. So I think I'll go with, here's the thing. We can go as big as we can until we start losing information, right? So, oh, right there at 13, you can see it goes ... And here I got 20.2 something %. So 13 is too big, right? If we keep going bigger, it's just cutting off information at this point. So I think 12 is the magic number. 12 even is a little bit, I might just tweak this a little bit bigger so I can get that % sign in and then match my top chart so that they're both the same width. Okay. There we go. So that was step 3, increasing the title size and centering it. And then we want to add a card in the middle of the donut for our total sales value. So we know we've got 0.67, 1.8, 2.5, and 7.5, but we don't actually know what all of those added together are unless we create a custom card here. So I'll just delete this and show you how I did that. So there's this visual called card, which we can drag into our visual, but make sure you don't have any of your current visuals selected or it will replace them. So I just click somewhere on this blank space, card. It's massive right now, so I'm just going to shrink it way down. And then in my fields, I just drag sales in from my global superstore data and 12.64 million. Now it's way too big. So if this were to fit over top, you know, that's not good. And if I shrink it to the proper size, then that information gets cut off. So I need to change the font size of my card. So I'm going to make my box the right size first, because that's the easiest way to do it. And then we can go to the General tab and change the, it's in the Visual tab, labels. Is it this one? Sorry, say that again? Oh, it's callout value. Yeah, I'm doing the wrong one. And we'll probably end up doing something like 15. It's too small. And I don't necessarily need the word sales there, so I can get rid of that category label because we know that this is sales by ship mode. And then that gives me a little bit more room to make this as big as possible without losing information. There we go. And we don't want the square cutting into any of the donut, so that looks pretty good to me. Awesome. So we added a card in the middle of the donut for total sales value. Now, let's say I want to move this visual to the top right. I go like this, I drag, and oh, we didn't get both pieces of what we're doing. So I know you two know what the answer is, but does anyone else have an idea what we would do? Don't tell me yet. I want to see if anyone in Teams, what would we do there?
We'll link both of them together.
Say that a little bit louder.
I said we'll link both of them together.
Yes, we'd link them both together, or the
Grouping.
proper word for it in
Group.
Power BI is group. We're going to group them. So in order to do that, you can select this and then hold Shift and select this, and now I've got both selected or both highlighted. Another way to do it is go into your View tab, and there's this selection. And so even if this was in the wrong layering order or alignment or whatever, in the Selection tab, I can see all my visuals here. So I've got my card, and then I've got my sales by ship mode. So now they're both selected. And then I go to the Format tab, there's this Group option, and I can group it. Now they're one section. They're in this group. I can expand the group, and I can see if I wanted to hide a certain part of the group, if I wanted to hide the whole group, I could do that. And now when I move it, it moves as a whole. Right? We'll keep it there anyways, but now it's grouped. So if we do decide to move it in the future, it'll stay together. All right, looking good. So get caught up to this point. We'll take a little short break here. So you can go stretch your legs, and we'll come back at 11:10. Okay, you guys can hear me again online. Welcome back. We will continue. So I'm going to erase these steps.
Hello, Professor.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, how do I find the group command? I can't find that under view.
So the group by, you
Yes.
just shift and you just select your visual
Yes.
and then hold shift and select your other visual. Or you go to the view tab and then in the selection pane, it'll open up this new window. Then you can select all your visuals here holding shift. And then you go to, once you have them selected, you go to the format tab and then you group. Mine's grayed out because I've already grouped one of these, so it won't let me group two, or have a group within a group, but yeah. All right, so we're gonna do one last visual here. And this is gonna be a little bit more of a complex one. So we're gonna do I'll close that, open up my fields and visualizations. We're gonna do a line chart. Oh, make sure you don't do that. Click off. Do a line chart. Oh, I keep replacing mine.
You have to grab it. Just double click on the screen.
I know.
Yeah, now just select the line.
Replace that, yeah.
Sometimes what it does is it adds the same visual over the one you have selected.
Yeah, it is annoying when it does that. Okay, so now I got my line chart, and we're going to do sales by month here. So our values, if I open both these panes, will be our sales, or our y-axis. Okay, so right now we've got one singular value of 12.6 million. We want to split that up by the month, so we can expand our order date hierarchy, and we can grab month. All right, then I want to filter this for just 1 year. So right now we're getting all of our months for multiple years, I think, right? So we want to filter this by year. So I drag and drop the year column, or sorry, row metric on this, and then order date, basic filtering, and then we just pick one of the years. So I'll do 2014. All right, so we're doing all our months, but just 1 year, 2014. Close our filters. We'll close our fields and visuals for now. And then we're going to do a few of the formatting things we've been working on so far. So we come to our format tab. I'm going to change the color of my line to match the purple here. And we can make the width a little bit thicker. Colors, choose purple, so it's matching. We're going to make our title a little bit bigger. And center it, sales by month. There's something called markers here. We're going to turn on markers. And when you turn it on, you'll notice these little points appear. If we expand this tab, we can change the shape of those. I think diamonds are kind of cool. You can pick whatever you want. And you can choose the color as well so that each marker stands out. By default, it's the same color as your line. But if you want to do black or something so that it stands out, we can do that. And now I also want, okay, when I hover over this, I can see that the sales value is 422,000. But I want to actually see it without having to hover. So how would I do that? What's that called? What are we looking for? How would I see the sales values on there? Data labels. Yep. So we turn those on. There we go. And we can customize these a bit. I like adding a background to my data labels so that they stand out a little bit more. And I'm going to try to make them a little bit bigger as well. So position auto is typically fine. You can do above or under. But auto, what it does is when it's going from a higher value to a lower value, it'll put it underneath. From a lower value to a higher value, it'll put it above. All right, so auto is fine. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger.
Can we drag the values a little bit left, like 0.29 million? It's like not.
Where are you looking?
For May, between May and June, I guess.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Can you actually drag it? No, I don't think so, but would there be a way to bump that specific one? I don't think so. That's fine. It's a good question. I'll get back to you if I figure out a way to be able to do that. What you could do is you could change the opacity of this line, so, or the transparency. So if we go here in lines, we've got our stroke width of 4, which I think is fine, but I want to change the transparency of that line. So let's see if I can find that setting. Background, series label, transparency. Oh, that's the background of that.
You can choose a lighter color.
You can. You found it?
No, just choose a lighter color, like a lighter shade of purple.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So lines. Choose color. There should be a way to change the transparency though. I guess we can choose a lighter purple. Let's see. Oh, here. Title, effects, color, background, transparency. Anyways, if I find it, we'll come back to it. But a lighter shade does help with that. All right, so that's pretty good. Maybe instead of doing 0.26 million, that's not very helpful. Maybe I'll do it in hundreds of thousands and see what that looks like. So we'll come to our data labels. And we're going to do thousands. And millions is almost too small. Maybe I can go like this. Thousands. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then just 0 decimal places. You like it bolded? So we'll do bolded and we'll do a little bit bigger numbers. And then also our X and Y axis, we can make those a little bit bigger too. So now just September's getting cut off, so we got to be careful. I think 11 is pretty good. And then for our Y-axis values, there we go. And maybe if we're doing these in hundreds of thousands, then these should also be in hundreds of thousands. So we'll do thousands. There we go. Okay. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is something called a quick measure. So we covered data analysis expressions last week if you were in my business intelligence class. Basically, a data analysis expression is when you take something like a field in here and you create a custom DAX query by going like this, new measure, and then typing some DAX code, measure equals whatever, and you're basically creating a variable that is, you know, using a function like average or sum or count. There's hundreds of them. and typing it yourself in this query field. Now a quick measure, we didn't play around with this, but we're going to create one today. We click this quick measure button with the lightning bolt on the calculator, and it's going to give us a list of pre-populated options that we can choose from out of the box that make it a lot easier for us to create these custom metrics. So these are all, they're all categorized. These are all your aggregates. So if you want to get your average, your max, your min per category. And so our category in this sense here, oh, if I close this for a second, our category right now would be by, I think we actually get to choose it, but it'd be by our month. So that's all our aggregates. If you want to do filters, like sales from new customers, and filter it on a specific metric, you can do that. Time intelligence questions, or time intelligence functions. So we covered these last week as well, but we wrote them out doing like date between functions and stuff. Now here we can just get a year to date or a quarter to date or a month to date total, or year over year change where it's comparing the two. You have a question?
Yes, please.
Yes.
When you say that you covered something as if some of us were in your class, I don't think any of us will be in that. It'd be good for you to repeat all the things that you've taught in your class. And I think those classes, we are class B.
Exactly.
So this is from my other course, business intelligence, but I'm teaching DAX in there, and Pedram will teach that to you as well. He'd give you all the material for that. But you don't need to know DAX for this class, so you don't have to worry about it. But if he teaches it to you in his class, then that's great there.
Okay.
So for this class, we don't need to know DAX because we're using the quick measure. All right, so this is basically a no-code solution, all packaged up in a nice box. Yeah, good question. And then we've got these totals here, and then we've got mathematical operations, so addition, subtraction. So you can see pretty much all of them are here. So one of the favorites, or one of the best ones I like to use is rolling average, and that's what we're going to do today. So I'll show you how to do it. We're going to select rolling average from this list, and we can expand this to see all the fields we want to work with and drag them in here. So our base value, we want to get a rolling average of this, our sales. So a rolling average basically takes kind of like a bunch of things and divides it and gives you your average so far as you go. So here, we're going to drag our sales in, and it's going to say automatically sum of sales as your base value because it needs to be the value you want your rolling average of. And to get an average, it needs to be one aggregated value. We want it to be aggregated by our date. So we're going to bring in order date here. And the period that our chart is in is months. By default, it's days. So we're going to actually change this to months so we match. And then here, basically, we're saying take the month before, the current month, and the month after. So 1 plus your current plus the one after. Or 11.5. And then when we hit OK here, it's gonna create that measure. And here's this DAX code that I'm talking about. This is the data analysis expression. It's all written for us, and we don't have to worry about it. We can just close this by clicking this little up arrow. You can get into it if you want and look at the variables that are created. They're using the dates between function. And then it's taking the start of the month, the end of the month. There's your -1 and your +1. And then it's going to return the average of those values, calculate the sum, and then that's going to be what we get back, right? So it's basically what's happening. We don't have to worry about the code because it's a quick measure and it creates it for us. Now you'll see nothing actually happens. Nothing's added to my chart here. So how would we visualize what we just created, that value? Yeah, we have to add to the chart. So if we come over to the right, we can see there's a new measure on our global superstore table called sales rolling average. So we can just bring this new sales rolling average into our chart. There we go. We're going to do a little bit of finessing those so it looks a little bit better.
You do the month of the date, right?
Yes. Okay, so right now the chart looks really busy. It looks a little messy. Then notice it changed the title to Sales and Sales Rolling Average by Month.
Base value sales.
Yes, base value sales. The date is order date, period is months, periods before is 1, periods after is 1. All right, and then what I like to do is we have our actuals. Our actual values is what the actual value is at that point in time. So February actual sales was 184,000. The rolling average, basically we can see as we come into March here, it's going to average February, March, and April, right? So it's going to take these three, and because April was so much higher than these two, the average is actually, oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Purple is our actuals, right? So here we have a low February, a higher March, and then a middle April. Because February is so low, our rolling average, the blue line, is going to be lower than our actuals in March. So it's important to distinguish the actuals from the average. And we can do this visually by actually making this line appear less prominent. So we're going to go to our Format tab. We're going to look at our lines, and we don't want to apply it to all of our lines. We want to apply this change to our sales rolling average line. And I like to change the style to dotted or dashed so that we can instantly visually tell the difference. Make it maybe a little bit thinner and change the color as well. Find something that you like. I'm not a fan of that color. Right, and now some of our labels, these are maybe too big now. So I'm going to make them a little bit smaller. Or I can actually just change the data labels on one of the lines if I want to make them smaller. So you can see my averages are going down. I can change the background color so it's maybe not as, oh, I don't like that. That was the text color I changed. I want to change the background. But I do think it looks a little bit silly with like two separate sizes here. So let's see here, sales rolling average. 10 is maybe good.
You can also just bold one of the, let's say, bold the sales and.
Yep, that's true. So we can select our rolling average and make it not bold. That's a way to distinguish. Another way we can distinguish is with our markers, and we can change the marker shape for the sales rolling average if you wanted to, so that instead of diamonds for sales rolling average, maybe you have little circles. And you can change the size down as well. All right, and then now we can easily distinguish between the two which one's which. And you can see here, June was really high, July was really low, but then August was even higher. So the average, the rolling average for July is actually still going up, even though July was such a bad month, because August is even better. The other important thing to distinguish here is we can change the color of our legend. I'm going to close these all down. We can change the color of these so that this is blue and this is purple, but we also need to call this actual sales so that the user knows that those are the actuals. So we go to general. Oh, is it in visuals?
Under the secondary y-axis.
No, the secondary y-axis is this on the right. I believe it'd be. Header icons. It might be here. Legend. Yeah, legend. Top left, style marker, match color. Should be on text.
So you see what we are doing was we are adding all the sales and all the units. Yes. But right now we're just looking at 2014.
So then what we can do to change this to actual sales is we come here to where it says add data to visual, and you just double click and you can rename it to actual sales. And when I click off, then it's going to match. And then the last thing I want to do is change the color in my legend. Match line color. It says on, but it's not actually matching. We can do that. We can do line and markers. I think that's pretty good. Text, yeah. It still looks a little busy for my liking, but this is way better than the default. And we could probably change our y-axis to not have the same title. Well, actual sales and sales rolling average. That is what it is. So there we go. Once you close that, we've got a fully finished report. We can add a little bit of spacing between these. So you have a little bit of white space. Make sure these go all the way to the left.
Yeah.
There you go. And I think there's also a way to add a bit of a shadow to the report or to the visual. So I just want to see if I can find that here. Shadow, turn that on. I think that's kind of nice. Offset bottom right, and then we'll just make it like a lighter gray so it's not as intense. And we can just apply that to all of these. Oh. I have my visual selected. Come here, add the shadow, on, do this one, on, this one. There you go. And if we close it, click off. In order to see the full shadow, I'm going to shrink this down a bit. Shrink this down a bit. Make sure these are lined up. Perfect. And then if we want to see the right shadow, there you go. All right, and then the final step would be, okay, so you've got this great dashboard that you've made or this great report. It looks visually pleasing. We've got all the information that the users need to see. We want to export it. Do you remember how to export? Yep. So how do you do that? Export to PDF, yeah, file, export to PDF here. And there we go. So just like this, you could print it off too, attach it in an email, make sure it looks the way you want it to. My shadow looks a little bit cut off here, so I could have probably shrunk that report a little bit more. But that's pretty good. We could maybe add a bit of room here. This maybe doesn't make sense to include this information since we can see the 0.73 and the 1.6 anyways, and we know the colors are going to be these 4. So we could probably come back to Power BI on this visual in our format, and we could probably remove the legend, and that would just add a bit more space. Yeah, it is cool. If you wanted to filter the entire thing by region or by ship mode, and then if you wanted to email the report that way, or if you wanted to do it for a specific month, and then you could do that as well. It's pretty cool how it changes dynamically. And then I just want to make sure here, I shrunk this, so then I also need to shrink my card on the inside, or reposition it so that it doesn't cut off my donut. It's a little bit too big. And now I need to change the font size. There you go. Perfect. All right, and then that looks good, that looks good. So then we could re-export it to PDF. So just little tweaks like that honestly make a huge difference with your report. So when you're working on your assignment, especially for assignment 2, doing things like this to customize it and make sure that it looks professional and polished and that you've actually put thought into it instead of just doing, you know, whatever the default Power BI, blue, boring, whatever, and making sure that it's customized for usability and the user experience. You know, those are gonna be things I'm looking for. So before we take our next break, this is probably a good spot to cover assignment 2. Before I do, did everyone get this kind of finished product? Yeah, cool.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Suppose if it was an assignment, so do we have to make all the visualizations on single page, or can we do separate?
Yeah, you can do separate, but so this is going to be like a dashboard for their health.
Yeah.
So like, how many metrics are you looking at doing for them?
Okay. So,
Like, it's going to be a dashboard, so like it would probably be best if it's on one page, if you can fit it on one page to neatly organize it. But if you had to do 2 pages, and then I would split it into like categories almost. So it could be like eating health versus like exercise or physical health, right? And you could like categorize them that way. It's up to you how you want to actually separate the visuals, but yeah. Cool. Any other questions, guys? No? No? Cool. All right. So let's open up the assignment 2 brief here. Oh, yes. Also, as a little announcement, I forgot to say this at the beginning of class. All the class recordings are on my YouTube channel. So if you go here to, I can link to it. It's just my name, Ben Van Aragon. I've got the data visualization week 1 split into 4 parts, and then the week 2 is just a 2-hour-long video here that you can skip through. Sometimes I honestly just find the YouTube platform a lot easier to look at the recordings than like the SharePoint and OneDrive stuff. So, or even Teams. I think Teams does let you do the speed, right? Like the fast forwarding and stuff, right?
Yeah, but not full quality. Sometimes
But I know YouTube also will like auto provide a CC or closed captions as well. So I will link that in an announcement and then send that out. Okay.
I have some questions about assignment 1.
Sure.
I pretty much have, I have the information from Shen, and what are we supposed to do after we go, we get all the information? How do we get the data to be able to put it in?
Oh, so you don't have to actually, you won't actually have to worry about the data just yet. Like we're gonna build it in Power BI, and that's gonna be assignment 2. But as far as assignment 1, you're just creating wireframes for me. So SketchUps, sketching up the model, like physically sketching it, and then also doing a digital sketch.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, so we pretty much just like doing like a design.
Yeah.
Different kinds of.
Yep. So it's all, stage 1 is all about planning for the user experience. So it's all about filling out that UCD handbook that I gave you. It's like 9 pages with questions, and you're going to interview your partner, or not partner, but you're going to interview whoever you're building your dashboard for, and then you're going to fill out that handbook. And then part of filling out that handbook is sketching a design of what you are aiming for the finished product to look like. You don't have to stick to it necessarily, but it's just to get you planning and see the importance of the role of wireframes within, thinking of the user first, not just like plopping a bunch of visuals on and then just hoping they figure it out, but thinking like what makes sense for the user and where should I put it and what's the experience and flow and the navigation gonna feel like.
Yeah, because I was thinking I have all the information, but how am I going to input it without the data?
Yeah. Don't worry about the data yet.
Okay.
Don't worry about the data yet. It's
That's
just
fine.
going to be thinking about what the visuals in the report should look like, and then we'll make data to fill it out. Cool?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Fair enough.
Okay. Hello, Professor. You said that.
No worries.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, you were saying that we'll draw the wireframe digitally.
Did you
Yes.
hear what he said?
Are we going to draw the wireframe using a tool or just our pen?
So pen and paper. Okay, so I'll open up the UCD. It's both. So let's see here. Data design, submission link, the participant handbook. So if we look at the participant handbook, right? Each page has these interview questions that you're gonna write down. There's space for you to type it out or write it down, right? Same here, page 3. Then here, this is just for you to think while you're wireframing what types of visuals and graphs and charts am I gonna include to visualize this data, right? So that's just helping you remember, because we covered what all of these are good for. And then I give you space to actually draw, like physically draw with pen and paper. I want to actually see like mock-ups with pencil. Okay? So even if you're doing this digitally, I do want you to actually like use your pen and paper and get that down. And then you're going to have the person you're interviewing take a look at that, tell you what they like, tell you what they don't like, tell you what they find confusing, like, oh, what's this for? How am I supposed to use this? Why did you do that? And then suggestions, like, I might actually prefer it this way, or I might move this over here, or maybe make that bigger or smaller, right? And then you're going to do the usability test on page 7. So here you're going to reflect on the goals and keys activity, and then maybe they have a goal of doing more bench presses every week. Can they use their dashboard to do that, to see if they're improving, to see how much they're improving, and see how close they're achieving their goal? And then you're going to run through this script with the person that you're interviewing. You're going to tell them about your dashboard, and you're going to walk them through a session. And then don't worry about mistakes. During the whole test, try to think out loud. And then you're going to basically run through it with the person that you're interviewing. There's also this link to this usability test, so you can run through some of these templates with it. And then,
So doesn't mean that we don't have to use Wireframe.
oh, like a digital one and a paper one?
Yeah, digital one.
I mean, I like to see both. So the paper or the drawing one is just like a really quick one, and then the digital one's going to be like your more finished version after you've done this and after you've done this.
Okay, in our final, if we submit the paper one, is it okay?
If you submit the what? The paper one?
Yeah, the paper wireframe.
If you submit the paper wireframe? I'm not sure what your question is.
I mean, what I meant is that if we draw it without using digital option, is that the okay?
I think I do ask for both in here. I'm pretty sure. Let me just see if I can find it. I thought I did. You're gonna do a PDF and then the complete participant handbook. So you're gonna, on your participant handbook is gonna be where you draw it, and then your PDF file representing your dashboard prototype. So that's gonna be the digital copy after you've gone through the usability test. So once you've drawn it and you go through the user feedback, you're also gonna run this usability test where you run through a script with your partner. You ask these questions, like why did you look there? What design elements gave you that answer? How did you decide to do that? You're going to keep going through the critical issues, the major issues, the minor issues. If they were unable to complete their task, like looking at how many bench presses they want to do or how close they are to their goal, and then some design recommendations as well. So is there major issues that prevented the user that you're creating this dashboard for from being able to track their bench pressing goals? Is there critical issues that prevented them from being able to complete that task of tracking their bench presses that caused frustration, right? So that there's a difference between critical, major, and minor. So it's significant levels of frustration, moderate levels of frustration, or some frustration and confusion. So basically you're going to run through your sketch version. You're going to do this whole interview and say, like, what do you like? What do you not like? Describe the types of tasks you're wanting to do, run through the script, and then get them to use it. I'm saying, like, look at it basically and pretend that if they were clicking things or looking at things. And
But before that, we would need data, right?
yeah, like not actually clicking things, but like they would look at it and kind of try to idealize or imagine what it would be like using a report like this, right? And so then this is where you're asking, like, oh, why did
we are just putting empty
placeholders? Yeah.
empty graphs or whatever.
Yeah. And you don't even have to use Power BI for assignment 1.
Okay, only just like on the wireframe, we're just looking at it like.
Yeah, they're just gonna look at it. Yeah, and you can just put in dummy data. You can just like fill in like, oh, 24 push-ups. Like you can just put in fake stuff, and then they are just gonna look at it and see like, oh, do I like this? Do I not like this? Where would I want to organize my dashboard for my goals, basically?
Do we have template for this project, like previous?
No, because I mean, like I do, but I don't like to give them out because then I find people just copy it, and I want to see like just be creative with it instead of basing it off of something you've seen. So no, short. Okay, does that answer your question? Is it Christopher?
Israel.
Oh, Israel, sorry.
So we're gonna use tools like Figman to draw it, and then we'll attach it.
I think you cut out a little bit there.
Yeah, what I meant is that we digital tool like Figman, sketch it on, then download and attach it to right?
Yeah, as a PDF file, you could do that. Yep, the digital version. Right, so you're gonna have a sketched wireframe. So these are what the marks are, right? So if you ever are confused about where I'm marking you, I'm looking for that interview and research completed, 2 marks, a sketched wireframe, including in the handbook. So that's the pen and paper on the handbook. A sketched prototype that includes title, color, and analysis details. Okay, so that's the digital copy. And then the test questions, findings, issues, and then the design recommendations derived from the usability issues, right? So that's the breakdown there. So hopefully that should clarify.
Thank you.
So you don't have to use Figma. You can sketch both by hand. Figma might be easier, but remember, so a wireframe has no color and no images. So they're just placeholders with an X. Everything's black and white. And it's more so about where you're putting things than what they look like. And then a prototype is more focused on the UI. Remember the first week we talked about UX versus UI? So now that you know where things are going, now we can focus on the color and the font and the space, like the spacing of the words and letters and the typography and the little details with color and stuff. And so that's going to be where your prototype's going to look a lot fancier because it's going to have all those colors and icons and little things that you're going to put into it. So one's just going to be a wireframe where instead of actually showing like graphs and images and stuff, right, you use that placeholder like this, right? And so it's just to get an idea of like, oh, I'm going to have 2 buttons like this with a big thing, like a big bar graph up here or something, right? Does that help break it down a little bit more? Cool. All right, we will grab a 10-minute break, and then I'll explain assignment 2, so that we're just not getting them confused.
So for the assignment 1, we don't really have to interview anyone, right?
You don't have to
interview anyone, like we can put this stuff on our own also.
No, you do have to interview someone. Okay. You do have to interview someone.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're creating a dashboard for somebody else.
Okay.
And then someone will interview you.
So it doesn't have to be someone from a class or like person. It's not a group assignment, right?
No, it's not a group assignment. So it does not have to be someone from the class, I guess. But someone from the class. I'm trying to remember. I think you could do it for someone else, but because if you're doing it for someone from the class, then they're going to understand like a little bit more of the things when you talk about like usability or like the things that we've covered with user-centered design, and they're going to understand like some of the metrics. They're going to know the language that we're using and talking about with like these graphs and visuals. Whereas if you do like a friend that doesn't know the stuff that we're covering about Power BI, they might not know what options are available. So you'll probably get more out of it if you do it with someone in the class.
But if I know, one of my friends is studying business management and it's kind of class. Maybe
I would suggest doing it with someone in class, just because they're also doing the assignment, so they're going to know what the whole process is, and you're going to know what the questions are. I've talked to you about with both of you, so it's not like you're going to have to be like explaining how to do it with someone brand new. So I would stick with doing it with someone in class. Melind, the shadow effect. Sorry, I'm just seeing your question in the chat now. To do the shadow effect, you select your chart, and then you can actually search in the Format Your Visuals tab, I can type shadow, and I just turned it on. And then I changed the color so that it wasn't pure black. I just did like 30%. And then I just shrink the charts so that you can see the shadow. Cool. Okay. So we're going to jump back into it. We may not have enough time to do everything I want to cover today, but we'll talk about the assignment, and then you'll have a bit of time to work on your assignment. So let me just update something in Blackboard here. Okay. Right. So I'm going to talk about assignment 2 now. So I'll share my screen. Okay. So assignment 2 is going to be due June 12th, 15 points. And you're going to use some of the files from today's weekly learning folder and walk through these steps. So it's pretty simply laid out here, but basically you're going to use the showcase exercise web link found here. So you go over to week 4, weeks 3 and 4 folder, and the showcase exercise web link that I'm talking about is this. So this is made by Alfaro Chingono, who works at Microsoft now doing data visualization. He created this 6 easy to follow video segment series. You're going to walk through that. You're going to download the data sets that I have in Blackboard here in this folder right below the link. Okay, so it's this link, and these are the data sets you're going to download. You're going to use those videos to walk through that exercise and create that dashboard. Then you're going to name the tab Dashboard 1. So all that means is you go to Power BI, you right-click the dashboard, and you rename it to Dashboard 1, like that. All right. Then it says you're going to right-click on Dashboard 1, duplicate the page, and rename to Dashboard 2. So that's right-click, duplicate. We got the exact same thing now. Rename Dashboard 2. Now on Dashboard 2, okay, the duplicate we just created, you're going to now make it your own dashboard by applying the best design practice techniques that we learned in Module 1, color, size, labels, title, background color, and hierarchy. Okay, so that was that main slide that I showed you with the yellow squares where it's going through all of those different things. If you want to go back to that PowerPoint or that PDF, you can go download that from the Module 1 folder, as well as changing 1 or 2 visualizations to expand and enhance the analysis presented. Okay, then you will submit the final PBIX file in Blackboard before the end of Module 2. This date is wrong. It should be June 12th, Sunday, at the end of the day. Okay, so what I'm marking, it's producing a dashboard of visualizations as instructed in the video set. Producing your own dashboard of KPIs and introduce different visualizations to present insights to the user. Okay, so that's that duplicate. And then applying design techniques learned in the design modules as well as from our hands-on development session today. So doing the things with color and the text and font size, alignment, the shadow, all of that kind of stuff, okay? This is 15% of your mark. Any questions?
I don't understand.
No? You don't understand part 3?
No, 2.
Oh, part 2? This?
Yes.
So you're going to, this is the copy of the dashboard from step 5 and 6. So you're creating your own dashboard now of KPIs, which will make more sense once you watch the videos, and introduce different visualizations. So what that means, introduce different visualizations, means here, as well as changing 1 or 2 visualizations to present insights to the user. So you're gonna add some different visuals than what were used in the videos. So you're going to change 2 of them to make your own custom and present insights to the user.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So that is assignment 2. So your assignment 1 is due next week, and then assignment 2 basically is you've got 2 weeks from today to do. But it's really not going to be that difficult if you've been following along with the Power BI tutorials in this class and in the other classes. So yeah, we'll do one more session on Power BI, I think, next week, week 5, and then I think that's it for Power BI, and then we're moving to Tableau. All right. Cool. Yeah, and then you're just submitting your PBIX file with your submission. That's all I'm looking for. Cool.
Professor, for assignment one, what are the deliverables for project? You said physical one, but how do we?
So if you printed it, you'd give it to me physically. But if you can just also like scan it at the library, like photocopy, or not photocopy, but scan it and get the electronic file, like PDF, and then email it.
Hello.
But
Hello, Professor.
it's for assignment 1, the deliverables are listed here inside the submission, so it's right here, these 2.
It's for handbook, yeah, like we can break it this for handbook, but
You can print the handbook, but there's also room in the handbook, like here. Oh, not here. There's room in the handbook to actually type out your answers and stuff. So if I open this and I open this, like there's room to type it out. So if I actually downloaded this and then opened it with Adobe Acrobat, and then you just do like the fill, oops. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to do this. Open with Adobe Acrobat, and then you can do like the fill and sign thing. So if I come down and I want to type in notes here, then I can just do this, fill in, and then you can just start typing away, right? And then you can save that and send it.
But with this you cannot draw. You can't draw
Sorry?
the wireframe. You can't draw the wireframe.
In Adobe? No, I wouldn't use Adobe to draw.
Yeah. Please, can you show me the data set, the assignment, where we can get it? You said module 2.
For assignment 2?
Yes.
For assignment 2, it's going to be in this folder right here, and you're going to download these CSV files.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right. Do you have another question?
yeah, so I can store this in my notebook and then take a picture
Yep.
and then upload it.
Yep, so you can totally do that too, yeah. So you can draw it physically if you prefer to do that, yeah, and get that out. And I think that'd be the easiest way to do it. That's what I'm suggesting. And then if you wanted to do this, open with Acrobat, and then add the picture from your phone, then you can do that too. I'm not going to remember how to do that exactly at this moment. I think it'd just be like File. I think you can drag it in, drop it in, but there's also Add Image here in the Edit. So I think I have to close this, add an image, and then you can drop that in too. Sweet. Awesome. Well, yeah, I think that's good for today. I was going to give you guys one more thing, but I think that's enough. You guys can start working on assignment 2 today. If you do want a challenge, if you're enjoying the stuff with Power BI so far, this is the file that we've created so far in the business intelligence class, right? With the relationships between these fact tables and these lookup tables. And so what I can do, if you're looking for a challenge and you want to, really hone in your Power BI skills, I can give you this file, and then I will send you screenshots of this file that I would want you to try and replicate. And basically what we've got here is a finished report with the same model. It's using the same model relationships, but this has got 3 different pages of a dashboard. We've got a slicer here where we can slice the dates between, you know, August 13th to whatever 2017, and it modifies my table view. I've got this cool area chart, as well as these custom KPIs for monthly revenue, monthly orders, monthly returns. So your job, if you are up to the challenge and you want to do it, you can try to replicate this from the starter file and see if you can get these visuals. So here's another page. So we've got these gauge charts, which are really cool, and these line charts. And this is kind of cool. It's using a parameter. So if I adjust the price of this product by 30 or 40 cents, we can see the impact it'll make on my adjusted profit and my total profit, right? So you can kind of play with parameters as well. So we can see if I drop my price by 30 cents, the difference it makes in my profit as well. Okay, and then the last page. Sorry?
Can you put it to 0, the price adjustment?
Oh, 0 would be if you didn't change the price at all.
So you basically use a line graph with 2 line charts,
Yeah.
2 y-axes, and then
yeah, and then you've got a parameter here that basically you can input into
I
this.
just wanted to check if the color turns black on it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because it's overlapping, so it should be.
Yeah, and then if we did adjust the profit, we took $1 off of each, then you can see we're definitely not making as much money. So that's a cool one that we haven't really played around with. And then the last page here is the customer detail. And so, you know, we've got our top customer, Maurice Shan. He's made 6 orders, $12,000. This is playing around with bookmarks. So I don't know if this actually is working. Oh, it'll take you to the executive summary page, basically. Yep. And then we've got a list of our top customers by revenue. We're coloring the background, and then we're also dividing it by demographics. So gender, income level, occupation, and then we're also dividing by age to see, you know, what age are our top customers and total revenue. So you can have a go at that if you want to challenge yourself and get really good at Power BI. But this is also just cool to see, you know, some of the examples of what you can do with the AdventureWorks files we've been working with. All right, so that's everything I've got today. So if you want to use the rest of class to just, you know, keep working on assignments and stuff, I'll be around to answer questions. But
Can you
yeah.
like publish it and give us the link?
Yes, I think I can, because it won't actually show you the settings for the visuals, will it? Yeah, let me see. If I want to publish it. Let's see. I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it does give you.
No, it doesn't. Like even with your the BI one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you can't actually.
The max you can go is find the table.
Right, which you would have anyways.
Yeah.
If I click edit, I have
Yeah,
access
we
to
don't
edit.
have this one.
Yeah.
We just see it as a normal web page.
Okay, so I think I can do this. Click this link, and then. Yeah, so that'd be easier than the screenshots, and then you can go through the different pages here, these tabs.
Like we won't have tabs.
It's not tabs, it's just pages on the left here. So I want to get that link. Got it. So I just want you to be able to can view, copy link, copy. All right, and then if I send this to you, I'll put it in Teams. see if this works. Try that. Try that link and let me know what you can see. Is it working? It's good. Oh, you have to log in? Oh, really? You didn't have to log in for the other one? Oh, it's because I did people in my organization. So let me change that setting. So when we test these things. So share people. Specific people.
Hi,
No, I
Professor.
don't want. Hello.
I try to use my Georgian email addresses. It's telling me that
Yeah, we just figured that out. Yeah, we're trying to see if there's a way that I can share it without it being people.
Is this part of our assignment, Prof?
Nope, nope. This is just if you want to challenge yourself.
Oh, okay, good.
Good, good.
Professor?
What do you mean? You're not going to do it? Come on. I'm giving you extra work, and I'm giving you extra optional work, and you're choosing not to? Okay, this is weird. Let me see. I published the link. The only option I have on share, manage permissions, feed, people in your organization. Direct access. Huh. It's annoying. How do you... Oh, before I forget, I gotta do attendance. I got the file for it now. All right, week 3 was a holiday, so we've got Nishank, Lakshit, Raj. Nope. We got Artem. Yeah. And Kieran? No. Kieran was here. And where is... Oh, do I have you on this list? I don't know, because you moved into this one, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think I have you on this list.
No, you don't.
Like this? Yeah? That's all right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got it backwards. That's your first name. First name, Adam. Okay, cool. And what's your name? Okay. Say that again, sorry?
Number 4.
Oh, that's your last name, yeah?
Yeah. No.
Aisu?
No. That's my first name. Aisu is my last name.
Oh, they've got it backwards. Because I think everyone else, it's, oh no, I've got these columns backwards.
And me too. You got me backwards too.
This is first name and last name, that's what that should say. No worries. Last name.
Even mine is okay.
Cool. Oops. Cool. And then teams, people in teams. Biode.
I forgot to ask, where are my donuts?
I'm working on it, all right? I'm working on it. Teams, bio, yes. Christopher. One of these days. One of these days, I'll bring them only when you're not here, and then I'll see you running across the parking lot. Give me my donuts. Raj. Robinson. Cool. Sweet. Sweet. I want to try to figure out this link, why it's not working. Or I don't want to share people with my organization, people with existing access. Specific people apply.
This organization, it means like all the employees.
Yeah, at Georgian College, but then you can't sign in. It's not working.
Should I check with my employer? Should we just sign in with the normal?
Yeah, try. Well, yeah, just sign in with your. What did you try signing in with?
With the college.
At Georgian C, or at Georgian College. Do it at georgiancollege.ca. I think that has to be the domain name.
Hey, so we should try again.
So try, instead of your student number, do your, what is it, your first name dot last name at Georgian College?
No, for them it's my Georgian College.
Oh, my Georgian. So it's your first name dot last name at my Georgian College, or my Georgian College? Is it my Georgian or my Georgian College?
My Georgian.
I think that's my
Weird. I think so. It's so weird because I never had this issue last semester.
Work with employer ID.
Yeah. It'll work with your employer ID because I think the domain name is georgiancollege.ca. But I don't know. It's not giving me the option to share it with people outside my organization, which I don't understand. If I allow you to share this report, people.
Yeah, no, if you only have georgiancollege.ca, only then it will allow us.
Yeah.
Because when I tried my personal ID, it says you have to do the work ID.
I need Power BI Premium. Maybe that's why I don't have Power BI Premium. I have Power BI, maybe whatever the middle tier is what I have.
But you were able to share the COVID one.
I know, yeah. But maybe they changed the, how do I see what version I have? I have Pro. Power BI Premium. There's Pro. I'm assuming Premium is better. Pro, Premium. Yep. Twice as much. So it includes all the features, but advanced AI, unlock data, big data, Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to change that. But for the time being, I can just send pictures or screenshots if you want to do that extra challenge. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
it says your IT department has turned off sign-up for Microsoft Power BI.
Yeah, it's not for sure.
Yeah, so for the time being, if you want access to that report, I will just send a screenshot to you, and then that will...
It says that if you want to share it outside your organization, you'll have to manually enter the email of everyone.
Right, yeah, which would be a little bit annoying, because then I have to go like this, and I have to say specific people apply.
And then enter each.
Like, let me try it, Nishank. What's your...
NKVKN1 at the rate gmail.com.
Oh, I want to try your student email.
It won't log in anyways.
Yeah.
Because we're not able to log into the services, so we'll have to use the personal.
Oh, okay. So
And not even the personal one will work. VKN one.
V
KN and Gmail.
Gmail.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it has to be in my domain though.
Check out if the student email IDs are in your.
Yeah. So what? 20.
487 324.
Yeah. See, so I do have
Yeah.
you there,
Let's try that.
and let me try. If I actually can I just type your name? Is it this one?
There.
Here.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to see?
Yeah, Christopher Iwo.
Art, is it you or EM?
ART.
M. Last name?
Okay.
Christopher.
Professor Gauri Priya.
Yeah, is that right, Christopher? EM?
Yes.
Gauri Priya.
Who else was saying they wanted it? Go Priya?
Prof, my name is on the team.
Oh.
And mine also, Professor.
Yeah, sure.
It's TATH. Ah, it's wrong. TATH. Yeah. Close.
All right.
Yeah.
Speak now, forever hold your peace. Oluwole.
Ravi.
Anyone else? Tin? Raj. Okay. Send. I don't even know if this will work, but we will see. All right, you should get an email. Test it, let me know. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna put a screenshot in the Teams chat right now anyways. Nope. Like this. Copy the clipboard. Boom. So you can go off of that if you need to. And that is a lot quicker. Anyways. You just can't interact with it, that's the only thing. All right, so that's everything I got for you guys this week. So I think we're actually at the end of our class here. So we'll get out just in case there's a class behind me. But if you do have any questions about the assignments, you can always email me.
Still not working. It says permission required.
Oh, do you have to send me a permission request?
No, for the account, the same problem.
Same problem, eh? Oh, because you still can't log in. That's so weird. I don't know why. Because last semester, everyone could log in with their student email, and it was like so easy.
Yeah.
They must have changed something, but I talked to the IT department, and they said it's not controlled by them; it's controlled by Microsoft. So it's like,
But IT department is the one dealing in Microsoft, right? For the hours.
what's that? Who is?
IT department should be the one who's dealing
Well,
with Microsoft.
yeah, I talked to them about it, and they said like,
Trust me,
it's not
dealing with IT department is a challenge.
I know. So at least for the time being, you don't need to log in to access it. But I just sent those screenshots anyways in chat. So for some reason, it worked last semester. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna stop recording and end the Teams meet. So thank you everyone for